All right. Well, welcome everyone as you're logging in. Just wanted to say a quick hello and shout out to all of you that are coming on the call now. We'll probably have a few of you logging in over the next several minutes, but I'm Jennifer Russell and we're going to brainstorm together today a solution for your business that could completely change how you think about getting new clients or customers. And, when one or two customers tell their friends about you, we call that word of mouth. And what we're talking about today is not word of mouth. When you get every customer you have resulting in 2 or 5 or even 10 qualified leads coming into your pipeline automatically, we call that viral business growth. So you're going to want to listen to the end of this call after we brainstorm with several of you on the call, because there's something that you're going to really want to find out about that's really valuable to you that we're going to tell you about at the end. And it may mean that you'll need to act quickly to take advantage of it. So to begin, I just want to get a sense of who's on the call. Let's start with a quick poll. And here's the poll. How familiar are you already with viral growth strategies? And if you've never done a Google Hangout before, you should see the poll on the right side. I can see some of you are already answering. I like to find out whether you're very familiar because you've heard some stuff from Brian Franklin or I, or you're familiar because you've heard from other people about this thing called viral growth, or maybe you're just a little bit familiar. You're not sure about the details, right? That would be the third choice. And then lastly, you're not familiar at all. This whole viral thing, you don't know how that applies to you or what it is. Just like to see who we've got on the line. And the numbers are changing, so I'm going to give it a moment. And while I'm giving that a moment, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what the genesis of this was. Brian and I have been coaches and trainers of entrepreneurs for a really long time. Brian in the Silicon Valley has been an executive coach of some of the most exciting people in the Silicon Valley, helping companies that are really large grow, to billions in valuation and millions and millions of users. So we've got a lot of expertise in the area of growth. And in our conversations with entrepreneurs, such as many of you, I'd imagine, we're hearing the same story over and over. And that story basically went like this. Yeah, Brian and Jennifer, I'm about to market my service, or I'm about to launch my next program or offer this to my clients, and the ROI on all the marketing strategies I'm trying is just not worth it. I'm working all night and all day. I'm spending 80% of my time on my marketing. I'm spending 40 or 50% of my revenue on my affiliates, and even more of that on my ads. And when it's all said and done, I have a tiny amount left, and I've got gray hair, and I just am burnt out. We had a marketer friend of ours say, there are 2 ways to get new customers, and they both suck. So we were hearing this story over and over. And maybe some of you have had that experience where you're really good at your craft, but the idea of current marketing tactics like product launches are super complex and time consuming and costly, and ad campaigns, only the very cream of the crop tend to do really well. Those are like the one-hit wonders that really do well on those. So if that's you, this is really a brainstorm that we're going to enjoy, because we designed this for you, because we said to ourselves, there has to be a better way. And one of the things I love about Brian is that he applies really insightful, genius strategy from one domain and applies it in an innovative way to another. And that's what we've done here with viral growth, right? And so for those of you, there's about 42% of you that I can see on the poll that are not familiar at all, about 48% of you, or 46% of you that are somewhat familiar, and then 4% of you that are very familiar with it, and only 8% of you that are familiar enough that you've heard it from us. So given that we have so many people unfamiliar, I'm going to give you like the short synopsis of what a viral loop is, and then I'm going to select some of you to actually brainstorm it, because there's no better way to understand these strategies than to actually see it live and in action, and we're going to have some fun with that. So we said there's got to be a better way. And by applying what we were seeing happening in the Silicon Valley for software companies, where they were growing at millions of users in any given month, right? And we were thinking, well, what are they doing? Their customer acquisition costs are, 5%, 8%, 10%, not 40%, 50%, 80%, like our industries of coaches and speakers and online marketers, right? And so we took some of those strategies and applied it here. And so a viral loop is basically this. A viral loop is something where you don't get the benefit of your product or service without sharing it, right? And so the act of sharing it, or the act of having friends or your tribe members use it with you, is what creates the virality. And this is not just word of mouth where it's like a bolt on, hey, if you like my product or service, refer a friend. This is where it's an integral part of the fulfillment of your service and so that integral part contains the viral loop where they have to share it if they're going to get the full benefit of working with you, right? And so that's a viral loop. So let me take another poll and see what kinds of businesses each of you are in, and then we'll select someone to work with. So let me pull that up right now. And so I'm loading that here. Now, viral loops don't work for everyone. They work for people that are in the business of transformation. So your products, your programs, your one-on-one services, your professional services have to transform people's lives in ways that are visible to those around them. So what type of business offer are you wanting to go viral? So you're on this call because you want to brainstorm with me something, right? And so I want to know whether you're offering coaching. Is it like a one-on-one engagement with someone, with a client? Is it a program or an online offering? So are you in the business of educating people in an online environment? Or are you in the business of educating people in a live event, right? So you're going to see all these poll questions on the right. Are you offering a software product? Are you offering a retail or a physical tangible product? Or are you a professional service provider like a lawyer or a doctor or an architect or a web designer, right? And so those polls are coming in. I just want to see who we've got on the call. Great. And so those are coming in. So these viral loops are designed to basically set you up with an automatic referral engine that's actively created by you and through the software that we're going to show you later on in this presentation. And what that does is it cuts the time and the energy and the customer acquisition cost down to a near zero level. So this is like a whole new marketing funnel for you and your business. That's an automatic referral engine that we've been able to set up for people and implement with people in a very short period of time. I think our fastest implementation was 3 weeks to have a fully functioning viral loop. Great. And so we've got several of you answering back. So I'm going to share the poll results with you in case you guys can't see them. I don't actually know what your view looks like. So we've got 11% of you that are coaches. We got 37% of you that are online programs, which is great. These tend to work really well for those two categories. We got 21% of you for live events. It's great. We got 0 on software. We got 5% on a physical, tangible, or retail product. And then we got 15% of you that are professional services, and then 15% of you that are other. So I think for today, I think we'll brainstorm, at least since we have the top categories, one of you that's in the kind of coaching or one-on-one services area. So that could be either professional service or a coach. And we'll try to get to one of you that's doing an online offering, like an online program. And then if we have time, I'll try to take a third brainstorm. And so one of the things that I want to share with you as we were telling people about these viral growth strategies before we dive into the brainstorm, when people were saying to us, oh my God, Brian and Jennifer, these strategies are amazing. We'd be on stages, we'd be talking to entrepreneurs, and they'd come up to us and say, this is going to change my business. I can't wait to go implement it. And when we kept tabs on them 3 months later, 6 months later, even a year later, and said, hey, how'd it go? How well did you do on implementing that viral growth? We want to tell people how it went. And guess how many people had actually implemented the strategies on their own without any support or help? And what we found was we had 0. So what we're going to tell you about at the end is a program that we have for you to help you implement what we're talking about. It's really literally a high-touch, step-by-step, where our team is going to basically develop it. We call it a done with you program, where we design every page and every email and all the copywriting and really put it all out there for you. So let's dive in. Let's go ahead and go to the room, and I'm going to try to select someone to brainstorm with first. Now, some of you I've got surveys back from, and so I want to give preferential treatment to the people that filled out the survey, because I know from some of you that these viral loops definitely apply. And so let's start with a coach. How about, do we have Josie Moody. Josie Moody on the line. If you are on the line, click the request to speak button, which is like a little red symbol, looks like this in red. And if you are on the line, we'll do that. And if you aren't on the line, then I may try another coach. And if not, then I'm just going to take any coach here in a moment. How about James at Alchemy Mind International? If you're on the line, we'll take you as well. And we'll give you two an opportunity. We've got one request. You, MP. Let's see who that is. Invite. So I'm going to invite you as a speaker. And so as we invite this person to speak, for all of you that are coaches on the line, and there were several of you, and all of you that are professional service providers where you're doing one-on-one, this viral loop is going to apply to you. You're going to see that what I, it went away. Go ahead and request to speak again. I had you, and then it went away. I hear that my request to speak is in blue, so sorry about that. On mine, it's in red. So we've got purpose mapping. So we've got a couple coaches. We've got Noah and Tara Zim, and we've got Craig. So if any of you want to request to speak, raise your hands and I'll take you for the brainstorm. And I'm not seeing any of you yet. And if I don't get anyone, I can just go ahead and brainstorm a fictitious coaching viral loop. But let's see. Maria Paula. Wonderful. Maria, we see you here. Say a quick, hey, wonderful. Hello, hello. Welcome to the Brainstorm.
I wasn't planning to be chosen. Okay.
Good. Well, thank you for being brave and courageous. Realize that there are a lot of other coaches and professional service providers on, so anything that we do today is going to be really helpful for those people listening. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask you a few questions about what you offer and the kinds of benefits that offer gives to the people around. And then we're going to together build not every single piece of the viral loop, but several pieces of it to give everybody an idea of how it works. And for all of you listening, start writing down some notes on how this applies to you. And we'll work with, it's Paula, right? Is that Paula? No, Maria. Maria Paula.
Yeah, you can call me MP.
MP? All right, yeah. MP. So tell me a little.
Are we going to get a recording of this, or should I take notes?
You don't need to take notes at all because you're going to get a recording.
Okay.
It'll be hard to probably talk to me and take too many notes.
Okay.
So MP, let's dive in. First, kind of tell me the state of affairs of your current coaching business. Are you full? Are you just starting? Do you have a client or two? How's that going? Tell me where you're at.
So where I'm at right now is I've finished off all of my clients, and I've moved across the country on my own. So right now I'm starting pretty much in a new place from zero. And I wanted to do that because I kind of transitioned from like a non-niche to a niche. And so now I'm like wanting to go full throttle with it, but it's
Great.
Clientele, like where to get the clients that I have the most challenge with, like the strategy.
Yeah, this is a really common thing with so many of you. I bet a lot of people will say the same thing, is like they know how to do their craft, they know how to do the coaching, they know how to do it well, but this whole idea of having to learn all these marketing tactics is a whole different skill set. And so what we're hoping is these viral loop strategies will really substitute for that, because what happens is you put inside of your fulfillment a feedback loop that will have your customers activating their networks, and therefore so many more people hearing about you, and then that will create leads and sales conversations for you. So that's what we're going to do. So let's talk about how we'd actually apply this. What strategies have you chosen so far? Are you word of mouth? Have you tried launches? Have you tried blog writing? What have you tried to get?
So I was in a period or a stage where I couldn't decide, because some people were telling me, oh, you have to go online and do it through online. And then there were people telling me, but why don't you just do it local, build build a foundation, and then if you want to go online and group coaching and expand that way, then you can expand that way. I personally really like one-on-one coaching.
Mm-hmm.
I like developing that relationship with the person on a deeper level. But so I've toyed around with different things, and I guess I would love to do like speaking and going out and building relationships face to face, like in my local area now.
Right.
But at the same time, I would love to have a system in the background where I can leverage my marketing time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Great.
So that's what I'm looking for.
Good, good. So, and is this something that if you were to kind of realize that a viral growth strategy would help you, are you looking to have more leads coming into your business now? Is this something that's urgent for you? Are you hoping to have more leads and more clients?
Yes,
Something
yeah.
you really want right away?
Yeah, I want to help. Like I want to help and get out there and like help people. So yeah, absolutely.
Great, great. And it sounds like you haven't tried a whole lot of different things, that you're thinking about trying speaking, but you haven't tried things like launches or ad campaigns or anything like that yet.
No, no.
Okay.
A lot of the has been networking, like BNI type things, referrals from past clients. Most of my clients have just been people that just refer people,
Yeah. Yeah.
honestly. So
Yeah, that's the story from most coaches that I talk to. Some of them that are at the higher levels have figured out how to have a more steady stream. The problem with word of mouth is it's kind of passive. It's a feast or famine. You can't really crank it and depend on it steadily.
yeah.
And often don't grow very fast. So here's what I need in order to start this brainstorm with you. Tell me what kind of coach you are. Tell me a little bit about the benefits that people have in working with you that would be visible, not just to themselves, but to other people around them.
Okay, yeah. So the kind of coaching that I do, I work with coaches and holistic practitioners.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is I help them get rid of emotional, mental, and physical blocks so that they can be unstoppable in their business. Because so many of us want to go out and help people, want to get paid more for helping people, want to go out and speak, and want to do all of these things. And there's this like BS talk in our minds that prevents us, or we self-sabotage, or we can't seem to quite get motivated consistently or stick to habits. Or so my business isn't so much business strategies for coaches, it's mental strategies for coaches.
Repatterning their stuck patterns such that they're more on fire, they're more empowered, that they don't stay kind of plateaued in their life, right?
Yeah. So they're successful instinctively. It's just who they are. They are success. They don't have to try.
And what would the people closest to them notice is the most different as they start working with you? And is this one-on-one? You're doing one-on-one, right?
Yeah, just one-on-one.
For today, at least. Yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah, for now. Mm-hmm.
So tell me a little bit about what someone close to them would notice first. What kind of qualities would be different in them as you were starting to work with them?
One of the main reasons that people want to work with me is because they don't feel worthy of charging higher rates. Like they'll say, "Oh yes, I'm gonna charge, I don't know, $1,000," and then when it comes down to actually saying that, when they're talking to the person, they revert back to the old price because they don't feel good about it. So one of the things
they're going to feel more of their worth and feel confident around their pricing.
Yeah, they'll be making more money. People will see them that they're earning more because they finally feel worthy of what they actually want to charge.
Got it. And what other goals might you set with your client that would be the kinds of things that other people might notice or see visible?
Yeah. I'm just thinking of examples from like things I've done. A lot a lot of coaches struggle with the family to work balance. I work with a lot of women who are coaches, and they're like, oh, I feel so guilty when I'm working on my business and I love it, but I also love my children and I don't know how to balance that. So when I can work with them, we can find that balance where they can succeed in both and not have the guilt and emotional like angst of doing that. Just keeping motivated instead of it being like whoosh motivation, it's more of like a steady, it's still, there's dips and ebbs, but it's more steady. Habits. A lot of people want to do more marketing and they want to write the blogs and they want to put out content, but they can't seem to stick to it.
Got it. Yeah, that stick-to-itiveness.
Yeah.
To be motivated and inspired, you help supply some of that motivation and inspiration.
Yeah.
Well,
and clarity.
Believe it or not, to begin this brainstorm, to begin literally putting the viral loop together right in front of your eyes. So now what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to tell you exactly what I would write in the emails that I would send and that it would be part of the viral loop, or things I might say on the first phone call on how I might interact with your client. And I'm going to build kind of word for word in a bit of a rough way, because we're doing this on the fly. Now, if we were to work with you in our implementation program, we would refine every word and have it be perfect and key to exactly your tone and what we know is most compelling. But on the fly like this, you're going to get a real good idea, though. So let's begin. So the first part of the viral loop would be either an email that you would send to your client, or the first phone call that you would have, or in-person meeting you'd have. Give me a name of a client, and it can be a made-up client name or a real client name, just so that I have somebody that I can kind of brainstorm and so that we know when we're talking to the client.
Vanessa.
Vanessa. Okay, great. So we're gonna build this viral loop with Vanessa.
Okay.
So, and do you have a name of your company, or is it just you? Is it just MP? Is it?
No, it's called Prime All Instinct.
Prime All Instinct. Okay, yeah. Let's see if I can remember that. So, and Vanessa. So here would be how I would reach out to Vanessa. Step one of your viral loop, right, is reaching out to your client the first time to let them know about this viral loop. So it might go, hello, Vanessa, this is MP. I'm just going to call you MP. Yeah. I'm thrilled that we're going to be working together over the coming months. And what we're going to be working on is A, B, C. And here you fill in the blank with the kinds of things that you're going to be working on. So here, Vanessa, we're going to be working on several things. We're going to be working on, one, you feeling your value and worth so that you're able to charge exactly what you're worth, not a penny more and not a penny less. Two, we're going to remove the obstacles and sabotage patterns that are in your way that are preventing you from being as successful as I believe that I know you can be. Three, we're going to look at some of the patterns and habits that you have you staying kind of stuck or not following through and implementing the things that even you should be doing, and that we together will figure out what you should be doing. So I'm going to be working with you on that motivation and inspiration. So we're going to be working on those things together. So you might start like that, right? That would be pretty a normal way to start. Here's where the viral loop comes in. So Vanessa, part of the way that I work is that I need to get a sense of a baseline of where you're at with these things. And I like to do that quickly. And so the first thing we're going to do is have you self-assess where you're at with these things. Like, how worthy do you feel when you imagine saying your price to people? And how worthy do you feel when you imagine doubling or quadrupling it? And how motivated do you feel on a day-to-day basis? And so we're going to start by self-assessing you so that I have a baseline of how you see yourself and where you are, because that's going to help me customize my coaching. In addition, because what I've noticed in all my years of coaching is that most people have a lot of blind spots, and most of the areas that are your weak spots are areas that you might not even know are present, but that the people in your life, your friends, your family, your colleagues, your clients, the people that you admire, they probably have some incredible feedback to give you around where you are with these things. And so in order for me to get past these blind spots, I'm going to want to see a 360-degree picture of exactly where you're at. And so not only are you going to assess yourself, but we want the people that know you and love you and really want to see you succeed. We want to have them give us the right kind of feedback so that we know where to begin. Because you might be surprised at how you're coming across. And just us knowing the quality of feedback from friends and family, just us knowing how you are actually coming across by people that are friends of yours, that know you, this is going to make my coaching all that much better, right? So that's like the first part, right? You'd either say that or you'd write that in an email. Now, for most people listening, this should apply. And for most people, if they're going to have a coach in their life, they actually want feedback. They're not hiring a coach because they don't care and they don't want to hear anything about themselves from you or anyone else. They are already primed to be a yes to this kind of thing. And when you state it this way, it's going to seem very logical. It would be odd, like, oh, well, of course you'd want feedback. Of course you want a baseline, right? Yeah. Why wouldn't you want to know where I'm at? And why wouldn't you know where my clients' friends and family see me at? Like, that would make logical sense. So that should be easy. People should you should have 90 to 100% of your clients saying, of course I'm going to send this survey out. Of course I'm going to self-assess. So now for the second part. That's part one. So all of you coaches on the line and anyone providing even an online program, you can see how this would apply to you. So just be kind of making note that even if I'm not brainstorming with you, this applies. So in the next part, you'd say, okay, so for me to really get a full picture of where you're at and really customize my coaching specific to you, I want to have you fill out this assessment, but I also want people from 4 different categories in your life. One, let's have some feedback from people that are friends and family that have known you the longest, right? So they're going to have the longest historical sense of who you are, and they're also going to care about who you are, and they're going to want you to achieve these results that we're going to be working on. So that's number one. Number two, I want your colleagues, right, who are in the business with you that you've met through your work to start giving us a little bit of feedback. So these are maybe fellow coaches or fellow practitioners in your life because they know what it's like to be in your situation. So their perspective is going to be really valuable because they've been through what you've been through. They know where people get tripped up and they know, where they see you getting tripped up. So they're going to be a great category. So those two categories. Third category would be maybe clients of yours. Right? A couple clients of yours that were happy with your services that you think would be willing to give you a little bit of feedback. Now, what we see happens when you get these people is they often want to come back to you and get more coaching because they realize how valuable it was because they're giving you feedback and going, hey, maybe I need some more help. So that's the third category. And then the last category would be people you admire, that you look up to, who have the relationship you want to have, to your worth, your confidence, to your motivation, to your inspiration. These are people who would have very particular insight because they've kind of solve some of the challenges you're in now, right? So we want you to have a few people from each of these 4 categories. Now that is going to seem really obvious and normal, like, yes, of course, those are exactly the kind of categories of people. Now, we've developed a piece of software that walks them through and creates these screens where they would fill in those categories. It would re-explain those categories. And you would tell them, we usually say 20, 25 people in your life, so a few in each of those categories, right? So 4 or 5 in each category. Now, if you tell someone 25, then they'll likely give you 10. But if you tell someone 10, they'll likely give you 3 or 4. So the idea is that you inspire them to dig deeper, right? To really get a lot of feedback, and that they're going to be benefited the deeper and wider they go with the feedback because it'll be way more accurate. One person giving feedback is not nearly as accurate as 20 people giving feedback, right? So that would be the second thing you would either say or write in your email. And then you'd say, okay, so here's the link. You're going to take this assessment, and then they would do the assessment, and our software would help you generate it. And if you're working with us in the implementation, we would literally help you develop all of the questions. And then you'd have a survey that would go out to each of the people that they listed that they wanted feedback from, right? So let's build that piece real quick. So give me a friend, give me somebody in one of those 4 categories of Vanessa's. Let's pick a category. Is it a friend and family? Is it a colleague? Is it a client? Or is it a mentor or advisor?
You want me to make this up?
Yeah, pick one. Yeah, pick one.
Oh,
and
okay, mentor.
Okay, great. And so this is someone they look up to, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, good. And this could be a potential client for you, right? Because they maybe are farther along and could use some coaching.
Yeah.
So here's how that one would go. So they would get an email that you have developed, that you have literally written. Now they send it to their friend, but you've pre-written it for them so that they don't have to think about this. They enter the names in the screen, they're given the email, and then it gets sent. And so give me the name of this mentor so that we know, we can tell the difference between Vanessa and
Anna.
Anna. Okay, great, Anna. And so here is what Anna would receive. This would be in an email from her friend, Vanessa. And so now, Anna, so this would be this. So from Vanessa, hey, this is Vanessa, and I wanted to reach out to you because I thought you might like knowing that I'm really wanting to take my business and my life really to the next level. And some of the things I really want to work on that I've admired you for are my sense of worth and my sense of confidence. You know, I've really admired, you know, your sense of motivation and drive. And so I'm really wanting to work on that. And I'm wanting to work through some of the sabotage patterns that are holding me back. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to reach out to you today because I look up to you and I really respect you. And I'd love to get some feedback about that with you because I've engaged MP, my coach, and she's going to help me with all of these things, X, Y, Z, all of those benefits that we said, right? And in her helping of me with these things, we're going to work on this several months. And in order for us to work on it, she wants to get a sense of how am I coming across to the people in my network that I really respect and get insight from there so she can customize her coaching so that we really make a lot of progress together. So that's the beginning of the email to introduce it. Now, first, I want to say a couple things about this. This is not a spam email from you to her, telling her about your coaching when she doesn't know you or doesn't care about you. This is not an ad flashing that you may want to turn off because it's annoying. You don't want to see an ad. This is a friend reaching out to someone they respect, that they know, that cares that they have these things, right? So the open rate or read rate of this email is you know, likely 90, 100%, right? That's really high, right? And so now this person's hearing about you as this coach that's going to work on these amazing things. Now, for many people, not necessarily for 100%, but for many people, they're going to have what I call FOMO, which is fear of missing out. Like, oh, I want to feel more worthwhile. I want to, you know, be even more motivated. I have anguish and kind of sabotage patterns that are in my life that are causing me problems. And so they might be thinking, whoa, there's this amazing coach that does this work. This sounds great. I wish I had that kind of help in my life, right? So they might be having some of those thoughts, right? And they may not be ready to act on any of those thoughts, but they're starting to maybe have those, like, oh, wow, there's somebody out there that can help people with the kinds of things that are universal. Like everybody has issues around these things, right? The work you do is the kind of work that a lot of us need help with. Like it's rampant, right? How many, I mean, even just on this call, have trouble following through and really doing the things that they say that are really good implementers, right? So anyway, so they're going to be experiencing the FOMO. So here's the rest of the email. It would go like this. So Anna, I wondered if you take just 2 or 3 minutes and fill out this feedback so that we can get a baseline of how you see me coming across, so that my coach, MP, has exactly what she needs to work with me over the next few months. Thanks, love you, appreciate the time that you would spend on this, your friend, Vanessa, right? So that email's going to get opened. And what we're finding is lots and lots of people are filling these out, a very high percentage of conversion on these, you know, as low as maybe 50%, as high as maybe 80, 90% of people are going to click that and fill out the survey. Now they're going to fill out a survey, and the survey might look, and I can't build the whole survey for you on this call because I want to brainstorm with more people, but the survey would be things like, you know, how comfortable do you think Vanessa is in charging the following rates for her service? So $100 an hour, $500 an hour, $5,000 an hour, $10,000, whatever they are, right? You'd make up something that would be reasonable. What level of confidence do you believe that Vanessa exudes with respect to her practice or her business or project? on the scale of 1 to 10. And then so they might do a slider and pick, 7 or 8 or 3 or 2, right? So you'd have several questions like this. You would have at least one open answer, because these are really juicy, which would be something like, what do you as a mentor of hers see as the thing that is most holding her back for her achieving what she wants to achieve in her life? And then you get them to fill it in. The idea is that you don't make them all short answer. You don't make them write essays. You make it mostly quick, easy, click, 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 click. Maybe 1 or 2 of these that they fill in, and they fill that in, right? And that's easy for them. They're their friends. They want to help each other, right?
Yeah.
So that's the next piece. And then last, they're going to be taken to the thank you page. And the thank you page is from you. You're going to have a picture of you or your branding on it. It's going to say, thank you, I just got your results in. And I just want to personally reach out and let you know how valuable it is that mentors and advisors in her life that she admires most are giving feedback that I'm going to be able to use to customize my coaching and really work with her in a much deeper way than I could have without your feedback. So thank you so much. And, if, some of these kinds of things are the kinds of things you'd like to explore in your life, if motivation and drive and this and that and X, Y, Z, for those of you listening, fill in the blank with the kinds of things that you work on. If these things are issues in your life, I'd be happy to spend time with you to explore, how we can help you pass that. It's my specialty, is helping people pass those things. And I'd be happy to spend an hour with you on the phone to help you pass some of that in your life, right? And so that would lead you, I'm assuming you do one-on-one sales to close, but
Yeah.
is where you would get into the next part of your viral loop. The next part of your sales funnel, right? So if it's a phone call, then it would be inviting her to a phone call, and it might be a link that takes them to your time trade or some account that has them automatically schedule with you, right? And I highly recommend that, because then they
I have one, yeah.
Yeah. So that's not every piece of a viral loop, but that's in essence a viral loop for a coach. And that would apply to any of you on the line that have a professional service or a coaching service, but it certainly applies to you. And so I just want to open it up to a question now. How did all of that sound?
Honestly, when you were going through all of that, I was thinking, I just want to do that to give them more through my coaching. Like,
yes,
just to validate, like, even if nobody clicks or signs up,
you could get zero money and you would still be a much better coach.
Yeah. You get like a 360 view of the person and things that you may miss or they may miss. Like, it would make for a much better coaching experience. Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'll say something else about that, which if you understand transformation in coaching, you'll understand this next statement is, so not only are you going to be a much better coach, just them getting that feedback, you almost don't even need to coach them. Like, just the feedback alone is going to have them go, wow, here's what I work on. Your coaching is going to be amazing. Not to say that you are not going to add a lot, but even just that feedback is valuable. But here's the second thing that happens. And this is key. Aside from getting you a bunch more clients and more sales conversations with people, is that you're going to activate that whole person's network. So now everybody in Vanessa's life knows that she's up-leveling her life. And so the quality of interactions of everyone in her life has now upgraded, because they're going to be like, hey, I got your survey. I want to talk to you about, like, how's that going? How confident are you feeling? What's happening around that? So they're going to start engaging her in it. Or, hey, I just thought of clients I wanted to send you because I heard you're really taking it up a notch and I didn't even know what you were up to. But now that I do, let me send you clients.
Yeah.
Even if you weren't getting clients from this for you, just adding this viral loop for all of you that are coaches or having programs, all of that extra flow in their life of all of their network being activated and all of the opportunities that are going to come that way are going to be attributed to you, because it started when you started coaching.
And I mean, not only that, but I think, I love to see the difference between being held accountable by one person and being held accountable by 25 people that talk to you all the time. Like, that adds a bit of spice to the whole mix,
Yeah. So it's incredibly elegant. And we have a piece of software that automates the whole thing. There are like, 6 or 8 different web pages and surveys and things that go in it. And we have something that automates it as well. It's called Client Stream. And we have a program that helps you implement it. But all of that can be done And all of that, if you notice, is part of the fulfillment of upgrading your fulfillment. You're not, oh, I don't know what that is. You're not having to spend a whole bunch of time marketing, because you're having a lot more clients hear about you without all of that. So it's incredibly valuable in that way. So thank you for brainstorming. I'm going to move on to the next person, so I have time to do at least another person, because we're going to go 90 minutes at least. But I wanted to give you that sense of it, and stay on till the end if you want help, because we'll walk you through step by step with our team, building every word, every page, every bit of it, and automating it for you. So
one quick question.
Tell me before we
you only send it to the people you're working with, that initial email then? Is that how it all starts? Yeah,
that's a great question. And for any of you that were confused about that, this doesn't go to your large list. This is designed to go to your customer, and you have to have at least one customer. Once you have one customer, we can help you get the rest. But you have to have one customer. And so that's what we recommend. Now, we just gave you an example of what I would call a feedback loop, right? And that's because they're getting feedback. There are 3 other kinds of loops other than a feedback loop, but that's one of the ones that we've talked about today.
Great. Looking forward to hearing more. Bye.
Thank you for being courageous. All right. So now I'd like to talk to somebody who is in the other category that a lot of you are in, which is that you offer a program. And let me return you. How do I do that?
I don't know how to get off.
No, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm kind of a little bit new to this platform, so excuse my learning.
No worries.
Here we go. Well, we'll just go ahead and we'll just mute you for now. Thank you. So now I'd like to get somebody on the line that has a program like an online product or service. And so start raising your hands or requesting to speak with the little blue hand in the right-hand corner of your page. And if you're somebody who has a program that's online that transforms people's lives, I want to call on you next, because I want to build a viral loop for that. And there's a couple different kinds of loops we can build. It might still be a viral loop for feedback, but let's see. Okay, so I'm going to view the requests. Great. So I've got inviting as a speaker Craig, so it's going to take a moment. And as Craig joins us, the 4 kinds of loops are a feedback loop, right? A member loop, a support loop, and a recruiter loop. And so we'll see if we talk about a different kind. Oh, this is Craig. This is Craig Filek. Oh, wonderful. I actually know Craig, so let me out myself there. Craig, say hello. I think you're mic'd and on live with me.
Yeah, it's asking me for all kinds of permissions. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. So you passed their permissions. I think it's wanting your Google Plus account and all of that too. Because this is a Google Hangout. Cool.
It's working. Hi.
Great. Okay. Let me see. How do I get it to go back and forth? So Craig, tell us a little bit about the thing that we're going to be applying a viral loop to, just so that everybody gets a little sense of what it is. I might know a little bit about it, but not everybody else does.
Cool. So it's called purpose mapping. And it's a program where I've defined a little map, and I'm going to just sketch it out real quick so you can see it, because it'll make it easier. So the basic idea is that we've got, I'm just going to write these words in here. We've got a map of our psyche, of psychological wholeness. Oops, downfall and shadow. Okay, so here's the idea. Let's see if I can see myself showing this to you. So this side is being. Mm-hmm. This side is doing.
Doing,
This is feeling better, feeling worse. And we've got in your beingness, your essence, this is your flow state, your genius. This is you when you say, yes, this is the me I always want to be. Mm-hmm. Love this me. And there's nothing you can do about it. Some people will call it your higher self. You didn't earn it. You can't change it. It's just who you are. Now, your strengths must be developed. They're the conduit for giving your gifts to the world. And so just to give you a sense, Mozart was a musical genius. He heard entire symphonies in his mind. But had he not sat down every day and practiced at the piano, we wouldn't have his music in the world. So that's why it's important to develop your strengths. Now, your downfall is anything you do that takes you out of flow, even if you're good at it. And so we just have to watch ourselves, because it creates a downward spiral. And the difference is we know we do this. Shadow is what we don't even know. We hide, repress it, and deny it. But what's cool about shadow is that our gold is in our shadow. And so everybody's purpose, fundamentally, is to make the unconscious conscious, get the gold out of our shadow, and use that, invest it in developing our strengths. And this is the axis of purpose. And so my coaching, which is great, the last thing was awesome.
Yeah,
I
bet it all applies. I mean, for one-on-one. But this is a program, right, that we're talking about?
So the question is I want to turn this process into an online program. I'm delivering it live. I'm rapid prototyping it. And so I'm wondering, there's really two things. There's the viral loop you want to show for the online thing, and then there's an in-between question of, can you use this type of survey to rapid prototype the course into development? Yeah? Yeah. Okay, so I just wanted to throw that at you because I know you're brilliant, and I'm good at
this. I can do things on the fly. You know, you guys, you're not even making it hard.
Cool.
Good. I love this, and this is screening for a viral loop because, like, you have even in there that there's shadow that you probably aren't even seeing.
That's what I was.
And the strength and all that.
And what you're saying, the blind spot, and
Oh, yeah.
And so this becomes a viral meme. This in and of itself is. Do you have your purpose map? Let me see your purpose map.
Yeah.
Right? So that you can just get somebody in like a nutshell, and all of a sudden the relationship up levels, you're talking in meta languages. One last piece I want to add to you is the way that that I'm identifying them currently, and I could totally let this go because I can see how, you know, the notes I took from the last thing could replace this, but the way I'm doing it now is I triangulate, just like a satellite will triangulate your phone, the GPS, 3 large surveying instruments that converge to triangulate your exact location. So we use Enneagram, astrology, and Myers-Briggs, which are fun in and of themselves and very deep, and we pull out words. This is the process, is we underline and highlight keywords that end up in these different categories. And so you pinpoint, and then we come up with a little haiku, so that it boils down to, for me, my essence is authentically generative builder. My downfall is stubbornly withdrawn and alienating. So now I've got the map in my mind, and I can take it all over the place. Like, I literally use it as a GPS. Oh shit, I'm in downfall. Okay, get back to my goal, get back in my flow. It's so cool. It's so cool. So I would love it to go viral. And, what's that?
This needs to be an online program so that a lot of people can have a purpose map. I mean, I'm just getting excited about imagining everybody having their purpose map and having a GPS of kind of where they're at, and then help with what to do about that, right?
Exactly, and that's where the coaching is. So I would move the free line. I would make it what I'm delivering now for $2,500. Deliver all that for, I don't care if it's $97. Like, get it out there. And then the people that want group coaching or, you know, one-on-one coaching with me, those are the people that then I'm talking to. So my clients are coming with a new baseline, and I'm only talking to people who already have gone through the online program. Yeah.
So I just need I have a few more questions, and then I'm going to be able to run with it.
Great.
The program that, let's say that I know it's not all the way done, but the program that you might prototype, they would they receive some videos or audios from you explaining it, and then maybe some way of taking it, like a survey or something where they would enter in information about themselves, and then output would be a report?
Right. So it's very manual. They have a lot of like thinking to do. So whether they're getting the large surveying instruments from the Enneagram, Myers-Briggs, and astrology, and literally going through the book and pulling out keywords, and then sort of aggregating them, mind mapping them, boiling them down to the top 3 or 5, and then sort of playing around until you got the little haiku in each of these areas. We could do that, and we could also use the surveying, your survey, to get their blind spot and get feedback as well. So that could be really cool. Like, I would definitely add that in.
Well, the beauty of our client stream software for you in particular is that we actually could be the software side of building a lot of your program for you, where you wouldn't have to pay a lot of development work because we've already built all that software.
I would love that.
All you'd have to do is put your branding and logo on it and make it look like yours. And I'm going to show you screenshots in a minute.
Yeah.
And you could basically have the thing that would build their purpose map. And we have as an additional service, it might be a little bit extra money, but we have a report generation capability where we could custom create a report for you that this survey would do. We have a standard report that everyone gets when they fill these out. But if you wanted a custom one, we even have people that can do that for you. So we might actually be able to form your fulfillment.
You have a platform that I could just dump my content into?
That would be content into it. So that's a benefit for you, and for anyone else who has something that might benefit from one of the first funnels into working with you might be like an assessment or a survey or something like that. Our work becomes not only the means of collecting the feedback, but also the format or platform for it to begin with. So
you're gonna show us that later? Show us that later?
Yeah, well, why don't, just for fun.
Yeah, let's see it now.
Let's see it now. Okay, let me see if I can share my screen. Just a moment. Share screen. So entire screen. Here we go. And for a moment, it's going to be all garbled. It's going to. So, are you seeing my screen?
Yep, leadership assessment.
Okay, great.
Oh, I got one of these.
Yeah, I bet you know some of the same people that are in our program, so you might know. This one happens to be Justin Livingston.
Yep.
And Justin is someone who is fairly internet famous. For those of you that don't know him, he's done just huge multi-million-dollar launches and is doing viral loops. In fact, a famous quote from him is saying that he had a man crush on viral loops after he did it. And he said that anyone that doesn't sign up for this program is stupid, is what he actually said. It was very fun. It was. I would love to post that testimony. He said that we could, but anyway, here's some screenshots. Right, so your customer screen, this is your screen, where you would create the viral, the purpose map and explain it here. Okay. Right, instead of so where it says Justin Livingston, it would say Craig Filek created this purpose map for you to send to your, to the people in your life.
So could I use any page and just stick the button at the bottom? Is that basically the idea?
Well, we build this page for you.
Okay, because I have a page that I would love to have in there. It like shows everything I just explained on this little notepad. It explains it very beautifully.
Yeah, so, you would just paste that in.
Yeah, cool, super.
Right,
okay.
So that's the first page, and then it says, okay, take the assessment, right? And so they first self-assess, right? So they're going to take the assessment, right? And here's where another screen where you'd say, okay, your input matters. We're helping, your client embody whatever they're going to do for their purpose. And so here's how you get started. So that would be another page. One is a customer screen, and this is another screen that the person that would be taking it would see, right? So they get started. Next would be an assessment, and you can see here, some survey questions, right? Some of these are multiple choice. Some of them are sliders. I don't know if you can see the sliders because I think the Hangout thing is in front of it. But that's the assessment piece, and it builds it, and it's beautiful. It's got your logo at the top. It's got the name of it at the top, and then we have the functionality to do all different kinds of survey questions, whether it's multiple choice or multiple answer or long answer or percentages and things like that, right? Yep. And then you're going to want that person to also share it with other people in their life, right? They've self-assessed, and now it's time for them to send to their friends and family, to their colleagues that are in higher stress situations that know what their purpose is, maybe to mentors and advisors, and so on, right? And so here they would enter in those names, right? You would guide them into what to do. And then here would be the email that you would pre-write for them that they would send to their friends to say, hey, I'm working with Josh. I'm working, as Josh is up there. I'm working with Craig on really understanding my purpose, my essence, and my strengths, and to understand my shadow. And he's developed this incredible process that's going to give me a GPS understanding of my entire internal world, and is going to help me with what to do about that, with where to go from there. And part of my work with Craig is to help me achieve A and B and C, right? Whatever you think that someone would get out of purpose work.
Yep.
And so I'm wondering if you would be willing to spend a couple minutes, because we need to get a 360-degree feedback, because some of the work is with my shadow, and there are blind spots. And so I need to get feedback from those people like you that are friends of mine that have seen me through thick and thin, to give me a little bit of feedback. And so this would be very similar to what I just did for MP, but that would be this email that they would grab and send.
And
now,
just to be clear, that's not an autoresponder. Like, it's not sending from there. It's just a pre-written email, and that's just where they get it and copy it, paste it into their Gmail or whatever, and send it out personally.
Yeah, and that's key. Now we can integrate with Office Autopilot, Infusionsoft, and things like that, but we recommend that this is not you sending it, but it's them sending it to their friends. Because if they are sending it, and they're only going to send it to 10, 20 people, so that's easy for them to do, and it's going to be opened, right?
Yep.
And so that would be the next screen. And then here would be a results page, right? So this is the percentages and the number of people that took the survey and what percentage of people answered, and it's going to give you a nice report that you can also share
That's the report you were talking about?
Aha, now this could be
Nice.
customized, but this is already generating. So this could be your purpose map report with beautiful graphics already done for you. You probably saved $10,000, $20,000 just on the programming alone.
Sweet.
And then this is the friend screen. So we just saw the customer screen, right? So Craig, if we picked a customer of yours, let's say, give me a name.
Oh, one of my customers?
A fictitious one. It doesn't have to be real.
Okay. Zelda.
Zelda. Okay, so Zelda just filled out those screens, but Zelda is going to send it to a friend of hers. So give me Zelda's friend's name.
Julie.
Julie. Okay, so this is what Julie sees. Those last 5 screens is what Zelda saw.
Okay.
This is what Julie would see as Zelda's friend. Hey, your input matters. I'm helping Zelda, find her purpose map, and blah blah blah, and it would explain it here. She would get started.
I could put my picture on there, and I could introduce myself and say, if you're interested, click here, and then basically that's the loop. So then it takes them back to the page to sign up. Got it. That's cool.
And then here's the screen after they filled out the survey. Thank you. And in Justin Livingston's case, he says, if you want to, he says the feedback you just provide will go a long way towards helping Josh, in this case, become a world-class transformational leader. If you feel development in this area would serve you in your business, we'd love to have a quick conversation to see if we can support you. Yeah. Just enter your email below and we'll book a call. I look forward to meeting you. P.S. When you enter your name and email, I'll also send you a free copy of my Transformational Business Mastery book. Mm-hmm. And so they enter their email if they want the book, and now they've entered into your funnel, and they've indicated that they also want a sales call with you to join whatever high-end program that you might have or whatever coaching you have. So those are, in essence, the screens, and that will give you a sense, oops, wrong thing, of what the software does. So let me stop sharing my screen.
Okay. Can I ask you one question about that last one? Because Ruth actually asked it in the sidebar. I don't see it there now, but that last screen is it's just a little more internet marketing. I mean, obviously you're asking for an email, you're offering a free ebook. Is there a way to make that feel more authentic, still transparent? Right. Like, hey,
Yeah. There are a couple ways that you can toggle inside of our software, and let me just pull up that last screen. Mm-hmm. Oh, I keep going too far. Hold on, just so everybody can follow along. I hope you all can see it. So this can be, you can do several things. One, you can turn it off altogether, and
we can't see your screen, or I can't see your screen anymore.
Oh, you're not seeing my screen anymore.
No.
Okay, well, we'll just talk it through. We'll just talk.
So the last screen, we're talking about the last screen.
The last screen, which is inviting them to an offer,
mm-hmm.
right? And that screen just says, thank you for the feedback. We'd love to explore something with you. Now, if you wanted to have that feel really authentic, then you might say more about how you're going to be using the feedback so that they get the sense that it's very personal. Like, I just want you to know that this feedback is going to be used in this specific way, and that it's valuable to me. And his might have felt more internet marketing to you, but you might just say, I'd be happy to spend some time with you exploring the things that are the most in your shadow, or to help you around your purpose. And if that sounds at all of interest to you, and you'd like to spend an hour with me just on my dime, love to just explore, just let me know. But in either case, thank you. And goodbye. Thank you. Take care. To your own success.
Got it.
Or in either way, here's my free such and such, right? And so you give something for free, right? And say, but enter your name if you'd like to explore. And so if you can write it in such a way that it explores, now the software would let you turn that off. Okay. And if you had already grabbed their email, you could send it straight in an email and say, hey, this is Craig. I'm reaching out to you because I just got your email.
So I could do it personally.
Yeah.
And get a dial, and that feels really authentic. It's more time-consuming, but it's more genuine.
Exactly. So that's in essence a viral loop for you. Now that happened to also be a feedback loop, but it works equally well for a program. And the idea is that if you had one person in the program doing their purpose map and getting information about how they come across, like what their type is, their typology, are they more extroverted or introverted or this way or that way, given all the typology that you do, I'd imagine that getting a reflection not just from yourself, but getting other people to help type you is going to increase the quality. And then they're going to be like, well, I want to know my type, because this is typology is one of those things.
That's the thing. Yeah, that's the hook. Is
So
what about me? Show me my map. Yeah. And you know what, there's something about, I mean, my purpose is literally to create illuminating games. So I'm thinking, you know, when I do reach out, I can share that and say, if you'd like to play a game, here's a link to and that's where it can loop back in. So here's my one question is, we went into, you know, using this as the content, and that's great, and I want to explore that. Up until now, I've had just a background with, you know, things that ClickFunnels now is like a meta platform that lets us do what we used to build by hand on WordPress and stuff like that.
I'm familiar with ClickFunnels.
Right, so it's great. So I love the idea of there being, you know, a video with a PDF and a, you know, a comment area, right? And if there's 6 or 8 videos, and that's where the content is taught instead of me teaching it one-on-one. I'm just going to teach it once, that whole idea, right? And so if it's that type of a funnel, how would the viral loop, you know, somebody buys it, maybe they talk to me, maybe they just buy it directly, they pay whatever, $500, they go through these 8 steps, you know, they look at their Enneagram, astrology, Myers-Briggs, they do the triangulation, they get a transformative life practice for how to integrate those insights and actually begin practicing it in the 4 core areas of life. And so then they get to the end. And I'd love them to be an affiliate of some sort or somehow make it go viral so that I'm not pushing this thing up a hill every day.
Yeah, and that's exactly, great question. That's exactly what this thing is designed to do, because once they do their purpose map, then the network of people that know and love them most is going to know about purpose map, because they can't get the value of a purpose map that's going to have any accuracy, because we're pretty bad at actually self-assessing. Totally. Right? We like to answer questions in who we want to be, but not who we are. Yep. Which, you know, which is also good, because we're you know, when we have more self-love, we're able to do that. Yeah. There's also the other types that just think they're terrible. But anyway, the whole point is that their whole network is going to start hearing about it. And if you want to have inside of your viral loop a way that they can join and continue to spread the word, and you want to enter into some kind of financial engagement so that they become purpose map advocates, affiliates, then that would be easy to do, because they would then just create the viral loop and send it to their friends and then have them do the loop. And then you've got everyone spreading the viral loop for you using your client stream software, which is already pre-created, but they would be handling sending them out. Okay. So that would be a possibility, but they would have login to your client stream viral loop, so you'd have to decide whether that would be okay, or whether you want them to just tell you the names and just keep filling in the names and then have you send them out.
Yeah, we could come up with something. I'm not too worried about that. I think the last question I have for you is, so I was talking with Nathan, our friend Nathan, who's brilliant, and he's an INTJ in the Myers-Briggs, and we went deep on that, and that was fun. And so, you know, he was talking about how the real value of this thing, like just looking out, you know, from a futurist perspective, like where could this be 10 years from now? Where could we be, you know, just thinking about camp, right? If there was 200, 300 people that all had this, and they were all brilliant, and they were all operating at a higher level of interaction because they just had more consciousness about themselves and each other, that ability to tribe at that level is the real value of the app. So like a fax machine, one fax machine is worthless, right? The more fax machines you have, I think it's the number in the network squared is the power, right? So we just, you know, that's the real value. And so what I want to invite people to is not to just get their own purpose map, but to join this larger community of people who are navigating at this meta GPS level. And I'm just curious if you have any insights, because you're such a community builder, you know, you get this. How could we, like, what would be that offer? How would I contextualize that for people so they say, not only do I want purpose map, but I want to join that community. I want to be initiated into that level of awareness, and that community is sharing it.
Yeah, it's slightly off topic, but I'll address it in a more brief way, and then I think we could have a longer discussion about it.
That would be great.
Fun.
Yeah.
But one of the important aspects of community and tribe is that people, you want to give people a way to belong to it without having to jump through a lot of hoops, and you want to have a way that people can associate as part of the community and connect to each other that doesn't necessarily always require you as a go-between. So that's why, let's say, having a Facebook group or having a forum where they can connect ongoingly is and can connect just whether they're in your program or not in your program, right? Because what happens with community is it's the ties that they create not just during a program, but the ones that outlive the program, that is what creates community. You know, we used to teach a mastermind, and in our masterminds, they formed such tight friends that all of their best friends were all the people in their mastermind for years and years and years after. And so you want to create a place and a way for people to convene ongoingly that has nothing to do necessarily with beginning, middle, and end of any coaching content. And so
that's the real value of the ties that we make in the bonding experience of going deep together, and then those ties just sort of persist. And that's the value.
And so you have to have a way of creating a deep emotional experience for someone to feel bonded. And when people witness each other having a deep emotional experience, they tend to feel that bond as friendship. When people are just working kind of as individuals and thinking about their own stuff, they're not like collaborating together radically or contributing to each other radically or talking about each other's kind of emotional landscape, then it just feels like a bunch of individuals in a program in a room, which is most programs. So you have to create ways for not just them interacting with you, but them interacting with each other in an emotional context, and then them being able to interact outside of your program. And that's what creates community. That's part of what creates community. And we often say that it can't be vended. You can't sell community.
Right.
But you can certainly create the container where community occurs.
That's what has the value, you know, from a monetary standpoint, like providing that context and providing that initiation experience that brings them the new awareness. That's what I'd want to be peddling, so to speak. Wish I could give it away. Eventually, I'd like to as an app, but right now it's just not feasible. So, so cool. This was super.
With this software, and it will build. You could build it inside of this software, and then decide what to do with it from there.
So what would the next step be? I know you wanted to show and probably make an offer, and I don't know if this is okay. Great. So I'd love to hear it. If you want to take somebody else before me, that's totally cool. But I'm ready to hear what you got.
Good. Well, wonderful. Well, we're at the top of the hour, so I'm going to go ahead and mute you, Craig, just for now.
Okay.
And let me see if I can figure out how to do that. There we go. Or you can do it yourself. Yeah. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about how we work with people, because I told you at the end that you'd want to stay on. And you know, as I said before, when we let me switch over. When we give strategies like these to people online and on webinars and on stages, the feeling is almost always the same. It's like, oh my God, this makes so much sense. It's so elegant. It feels easy. Sounds like it's going to eliminate a lot of the marketing headaches that I have. But what we find is very few people actually implement, right? And because of that, we designed a viral loop success circle, is what we're calling it, which is basically a step-by-step hand-holding program that walks you through and builds your viral loop. And that's what we've got. We've got it, and it starts on July 7th. So, if you're in the business of transforming people's lives with your services and programs, you probably spend a lot of your time and attention on getting new customers, which is just on feeding yourself. And there's basically 3 ways to do it. And so ads are one way, where the upside is super wide reach to a large audience. And the downside is that you can easily spend more on a campaign than you are converting to revenue. And these leads are often really cold because they don't know you. And we see ad campaign is usually just the one-hit wonders where if you're really at the top of your game, you make money on ads, and almost all the rest of the people are spending more than they're making and converting. Next way to get leads is JVs, right, and launches, where the upside is that you get introduced to a new audience and you get warmer leads. But the downside is that they often take 40 or 50% of your revenue and a significant amount of time and energy and team just to manage. And so after paying the expenses of your launch, affiliates often make significantly more money than you do, and you still have to, with the amount left, do all the work to build and deliver your product and service with a fraction. Then the last is word of mouth, like MP. The upside is that it's low cost and low effort, but the downside is that it's not repeatable or predictable. So you base your business growth on the hope that your clients and customers will proactively be salespeople for your business and tell others about it. So it could be a feast or famine or have really low growth. So what we're seeing is that our industry is basically stalled. And just like human civilization was, there haven't been many innovations in how we actually deliver our products and services. for over a decade. So we're still mostly packaging videos and group calls and one-on-one appointments because we barely have any attention left over after we spend all our time trying to get customers. So what we found that we told the strategy about is that it's going to change the whole business, and I can't wait to implement it. And we keep tabs on them, and they still haven't done it. So viral loops is our solution. And this innovation is now spreading with the top difference-making entrepreneurs that have joined us. You know, we've had Bill Barron in our program, and Callan Rush, and Justin Livingston, and Sage Levine, and Ben Saltzman, who does Enneagram, and lots of other what we would call internet famous people that were having the same burned out experience, even though they had multi-million-dollar businesses and launches. And so what we can do with you in this program is reduce your time, effort, and expense of getting new customers to near zero and free up your attention and creativity to make a bigger difference. And so we just want you to join this evolution. And so all you need is really to really care about your customers getting value. You have to have products that really do change people's lives in visible ways that are visible to others, right? It's not for luxury products or even really retail or tangible products, but this is for people that are offering transformative products and services. And then 3, that you don't actually have to be good at marketing, copywriting, and launches, and you don't have to have a big email list. And so the Viral Loop program is basically this. It's a 3-month support program where you're going to be implementing with Brian, who's just an exquisite teacher and facilitator of this. He's an expert in viral growth, not just with entrepreneurs, but with large Silicon Valley companies. And he'll be working with you step by step, you and your team, for 3 months. And as he's working with you and your team, you're going to be on calls with him that are video conference calls that we call work calls. And these work calls, you'll be walked through the steps of putting together your viral loop, and he'll help you craft every word, every page, every question, everything that gets sent out, every title, and your strategy as well. It's almost done for you, except that we want to collaborate so that we can teach you how to create viral loops for other products and offers as you start to evolve your own business. And so we teach you how to fish as we're doing it with you for the program. And so that's the Viral Loop program. It's 3 months. You have calls every other week. They're 2 hours long. We spend the first third of the call just teaching you like what are the next steps and walking you through the pieces of the software that are also step-by-step made easy. And then the last 2/3 of the call is spent with those people in your Viral Loop success circle. And you'll have no more than 10 people. We might have multiple circles going at once, but your circle will have no more than 10, usually between 8 and 10. And then we spend time with each person on the call to actually work through their viral loops. So you're learning from listening to their loops, getting more creativity and ideas, and then he's actually implementing you and writing them with you. And so that's our program. And so it's an investment in having a marketing funnel that's brand new that could help you fill your practices, fill your programs, fill the events that you offer now and ongoingly with a very low acquisition cost. So that's what we're offering. And for those of you that know that you're ready, you know that you want more clients, you hear the benefit of having this kind of strategy, not only to get you more clients, but even just in upgrading the kind of quality of experience that the people in your programs are getting. If you know that you're ready to get these clients and you know you're ready to upgrade that quality, we'd be happy to work with you and help you implement. Because we know that even if you think you will, you likely aren't going to implement what you heard today. And so we want to help walk you step by step. And so if you click here, let me pop this in. Let me see, pop-ins. Here we go. I'm loading this now. Display. So if you click here, you should see this in the side, is a place for you to sign up and get our team on your team, basically setting up this marketing loop for you. And you can get started. Our next viral loop starts on July 7th. And if you sign up within the next 24 hours, which you can see the counter counting down, we're going to give all of you guys that were on this call that took the time to see this offer $1,000 off the program. Some of you are saying you can't see it. Love to see in the chat room if any of the rest of you are seeing it. Let's see. Let me see. I'm reading through. It's being recorded. It is being recorded. And great. If you can't see it, we're going to make sure that you are emailed this offer. But it's $1,000 off the program. The program is 3 payments of $1,500 each. And once you pay that off, you've got viral loops forever. You can set up to 5 viral loops for that, and you also get the software. If you can't see it, don't worry, we'll email it to you. But we're going to have this available for 24 hours. You know, there's a lot of benefit to acting and taking action and not waiting, right? Not only will you save the $1,000, but just you'll be on path, on track. And we notice that people that are good at implementing and taking action are the ones that don't need to think and think and think, and then have it fade and then have it pass you by. So we'd love to help you with this program. So now I want to open up the room in the last 10 or 15 minutes that I'm going to stay on this call for questions. And so you can, I've answered Aisling's question, which is how much is the program? So we said 3 payments of $1,500. We've got Ruth asking me about the other 3 loops. So here is really quickly, you heard about a feedback loop. Here is the other loop. So there's a membership loop, right? And it's like a feedback loop, but the resulting data that you get is used in a different way. So the consultant, let's say, sends the customer survey to send to their friends, and the survey is meant to prepare them for membership in their community. And so once a viral loop customer runs a referral network for JV partners, once someone joins, they'll send the survey to their friends to get a rating of how good you are. And then they convert, you know, how good, if it's a JV network, which we did somebody a membership loop who was looking to join a JV network, and it was, how good a JV are you? How good are you at converting? And do you pay well? And do you provide real value to your customers? So they were going to be led into this network based on how other people, other JVs that would also be candidates to join membership answered, and then be given a rating. So this is turned into the rating that's displayed for other current members, and then they have an opportunity for improving this rating by re-polling people at a later date. So that's a membership loop. So now people are asking to be part of something, they're getting the rating. The rating is part of their membership because everybody gets rated, and then that's how it spreads. And other people are like, well, I want to be a member of that club. I want to be rated and get that feedback. So that's a membership loop. A support loop is quickly that, you know, where consultants tell customers that they need to recruit a support group to help them. You know, this is good for like weight loss programs where you want friends to help keep you honest and keep you accountable. And so the friends have a role like giving feedback at specific intervals and checking in and, you know, promising to be their workout partners and things like that. And that you would provide a framework for the support that the friends give the customer. And so they join your program and they get a bunch of people in their lives to be their friend network and help them stay, you know, stay on track, you know, work out every day and do those things. And so often they'll want to join the program and get the benefit as well. So that would be a support loop, if that makes sense. And then finally, there's like a recruiter loop, right? And that would be the 4th kind of loop where the consultant might want to hire new commission-only salespeople, right? And so then you would send the survey to friends that assess their personality and the likelihood that they'll succeed in that commission-only sales role. And so that they would need to get at least 10 good responses before they could start. And so some of the people that they would send that to would be other salespeople that might also be recruitable because they're looking to hire. And so that's a really brief, very quick overview of what those different loops are. So if you have other questions, you can raise your hand or put it in the chat box window, and I'll let you know. Does your platform connect with other CRMs? We right now connect with Infusionsoft and Office Autopilot, Entreport. We are willing to do integrations with others. Those tend to be the ones that are most popular. We do have some people with Aweber. And so if you want a custom integration, it's usually not very expensive, and we can do that for you. Otherwise, we can show you how to work around the integration. But we're looking to add more integrations as we go. And then we've got another question, which is beyond the program, how much to continue to use the viral loop software, as this would need to be ongoing? Absolutely. For the program, you get 1 year and up to 5 loops that you can use for 5 different products or programs. After the year, we'll probably continue on a monthly basis, so long as you're using our software and sending surveys out and having us generate and hold all your data. It'll probably be about $99 a month. And we're right now, I think it's going to be around that. It shouldn't be plus or minus $10 or $20 at the most. So that's $99 a month, which is great. All right, let me see if I've got some questions. You can also raise your hand and we can talk to you live, or you can just continue to put them in the chat window, which is wonderful. Great. It's been wonderful to have you guys on the call. I'm going to look and see if I've got some requests. Do I have Trevor? Does he have a question for me? I'm putting you on the mic just in case you do. I know if it's Trevor Justice, I've actually talked to you and done a brainstorm, so we'll see how he's doing. As always, you can reach out to me. The offer is going to be at brianfranklin.com/go viral. And that is where you're going to find the offer if you're not seeing it on the side of your screen. So Brian with a Y, spell it with a Y, brianfranklin.com/go viral, all one word, all lowercase, go viral. We thought that would be an easy link for you to remember. So check that out. July 7th is when it starts, and we have really enjoyed having you here. We'd be happy to have our team help you put together a viral loop, so let us know. I have one more question. Is there a website on ClientStream, as I can't find anything on it? That's because it's under Tributor.com, TRIBUTR.com. And we put it on that domain so that the friends that are receiving these surveys don't feel like the domain name is very markety, right? ClientStream sounds like, oh, they're trying to get more clients, versus Tributor says contributing to each other, contribute. And so we gave you a friendly URL, and so you'll see it there. But if you don't have a login, you might not see more. All right, wonderful. When is the next program after July 7th? We will likely have another program starting in mid to late August. And so if you can't make this one, you'll look out for one of those coming from us later. But let us know that you're interested in joining a later one so that we can make sure that you hear about it. Great. Great, wonderful questions. These are great. And you'll have Brian Franklin leading these, who is just quite an expert. He has a real way with putting these together in a way that'll have them really convert, because the devil's in the details, and wording these in a way such that everybody feels good receiving them and wants to take the survey and then wants to take your one and offer. There's a little bit of an art to that. So you'll have his help with that. So the program is $4,000, but it's 3 payments of $1,500 if you pay it. We just had a question. 3 payments of $1,500 if you pay it over time. And so the program will be $5,000 after in 24 hours. So tomorrow at midnight, it'll be $5,000. So that, and we're going to do that as 3 payments of $1,825, I think, if I had that right. So tomorrow it's going to be $1,000 more. Today it's $4,000, or 3 payments of $1,500. We charge you a little bit more for financing it for you. And so that's the question there, which is a great question. If you're asking pricing, that means that you've got some curiosity and interest, which is wonderful. And if you have any questions that haven't been addressed, go ahead and let us know. We're happy to either jump on a call with you or email you on how it might apply to you. And the Tributor software, I'm being asked a question. Tributor is TRIBUTR, no E. TRIBUTR.com. Christian Taylor, who I see on the line. Nice to see you on this chat. All right, so let me just see if there's any other requests. I think we're good. And we're about out of time. Wonderful to have you guys. Thank you. These strategies are incredibly elegant, incredibly easy. With our team helping you implement, you'll have a fully functioning viral loop in a matter of a few weeks. And we recommend that you introduce it to your customers at the early stage of them working with you. It tends to work the best. So have a wonderful night. If there's any chat questions I didn't get to, I'll look back and send you guys some answers. Thank you. Have a great night.